Starting a business is an exciting but a challenging endeavor. It takes dedication, passion, and hard work, but it just starts with a tiny spark of imagination. Einstein once said, "Imagination is the limit, and sun creates revolutions out of this thought bubble." We at Founder try to explore these rule breakers and bring their inspiring stories to the next generation of creators. If you're a Sri Lankan or if you're very familiar with Sri Lanka, when you hear this surname, one person pops into your mind, Wijewardana. Yes, it's Upali Wijewardana. He's a futuristic, he's a legend, he's a creator, he's an innovator. To unwind the origin story of this legendary person, we are here to meet Mr. Dammika Artygala. Welcome to the show, sir. So, let me ask you a first question, not about Mr. Upali Wijewardana, but about you. How are you doing, and what's the whole new ventures that you're going on, and how's life?
Pretty good. As we all know, Sri Lanka is facing the economic crisis, so we have to especially do a lot of revenue management to cut our costs and also increase our revenues. So we do a lot of measures to handle that part of the story.
So the life goes on with the business world.
Yes.
So let me ask you the first question regarding the show now. Who is Upali Wijewardana according to you as an uncle, as a businessman, and as a human being?
He's a nice human being, and as an uncle, for the family, he was very good at doing. But then, as business, he didn't mix up the family life and the business. So it was two separate entities for him, and he developed his business and family. Like during our birthdays and all that family events, he used to participate. Other than that, he was more concentrating on developing his business.
So he's more like a business person but basically he's a workaholic.
Yes.
He's a workaholic. Yes. Just like us. So what's the first memory you have of him?
First memory is because he was the chief Basnakan in Kalniya temple.
Yeah.
So Durutu, like month of January, we used to always go to see the Perahara. So I remember him because it was unique dress. It was a North Indian dress he used to wear. Yeah, my grandfather also was wearing. I have seen the pictures. Then it was amazing that kit is not being shown anywhere in Sri Lanka. It's only dedicated to Kalniya temple. So it was really the good image of him wearing that Nilame costume.
It must have been very wonderful and mesmerizing for you to see that.
Yes.
As I've heard stories of him, he's not a person who gets shaken up by things or external issues no matter what. And so the question is, why do you think he was such a brave, tough decision maker, and what drove his determination?
No, he always said that he was educated and no one could take his education away. So he was initially at Royal College, then he moved to Queen's College and to Cambridge. So he always used to show his brain and said, no matter what, whoever takes everything, but they can't take my brain.
Yeah, that was literally true.
Yeah.
So that's
so there were a lot of people who were trying to take his wealth away, and so but then he was not scared. He said, from scratch I can start again because they can't take my brain away.
I mean, the blueprint literally inside there, so no one can take it.
Yeah.
That's actually true. Because from what I learned regarding him, he's like this tough decision maker. He doesn't back off when he's taking a decision, and he straight away go for that. And I was wondering what sort of a determination should a person have, because even for ourselves, we crumble at one place. And specifically the generation that we have now, they will give up like straight away. But that quality that Upali Wijewardana holds, I haven't seen most of the people have that. Like only rarely I have seen a person have that. So you've been having a very inspirational life. So the other question that I wanted to ask you, what made him start his journey as an innovator, a creator, and as an entrepreneur? Where did all begin? Like, why did he start all this?
Actually, he belongs to a business family from his mother's side and father's side. Father's side was from Helena Wijewardana family, and they had D.R. Wijewardana was his uncle.
Okay.
who started the lake house, and he was a business entrepreneur at that time. Then his mother's side was from Kamurupitiya. So mother's brother was Senator Sarath Wijewardana. He was also agriculturist, and he was involved in politics as well. And with those two combination, he thought that he would also
Get into
business and
let
corporate
me guide
world.
my whole
Yes.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure that when he was getting into it, he would have never thought that he will be building an empire like this.
Yes, but he went step by step and he achieved what he wanted.
Such an inspirational character. We see Upali Wijewardana as this gigantic who made success of everything he created, but there's always hard work and failures before achieving that pedestal of success, which we often either neglect to see or don't get to see at all. So what were his failures and flops during his time with all his work that he overcame? I'm specifically asking this question because when you see the Superman, we see this big person saving the world every single time, finding solution and all that, but we can't actually relate to the person because we don't know where he fails and how he overcome those things. We see Upali Wijewardana as the Superman as well for ourselves. Every Tom, Dick and Harry knows who Upali Wijewardana is, but we want to know how he achieved his failures as well, so that we can get inspired and we can go through those failures as well, because that's the whole life. You get ups and downs, but how did he actually become this person? How did he overcome his failures?
Actually, when Land Reform Commission was introduced in 1972, a lot of his estates, family estates, well as corporate estates were taken over. Some of the Grand Central estates, he had about 32,000 tea plantation and rubber. All the estates were taken over. So that was one thing he was shocked. But then again, he didn't stop there. Then he invested that money. He somehow went to Malaysia and started his cocoa plantation and oil palm. So he didn't give up. Though it was taken in Sri Lanka, he started somewhere in Malaysia, and it was very successful in Malaysia.
If it's not this solution, there's always another solution.
Yes.
Just look for that.
Yes.
You don't have to stuck in between and dwell in that.
Yes.
That's actually a really good lesson that we really need to have that. So what kind of serious sacrifices did he have to make along the way to get to the place that he was? So basically everyone have sacrifices to make. Has he done huge sacrifices then that he regrets during his time, or was he anything that he had to do?
No, he was very fun-loving person, and he was determined to win the Royal Derby.
Oh.
That was one of his dreams, so he was going for it. He won the Perak Dam in Malaysia, Singapore Derby, then Sydney Cup he won. Then he was qualified for the Royal Ascot.
Wow.
He won the Royal Ascot in England. So next step was in June to go for the Derby. Royal Derby was in June, but then unfortunately he disappeared in February. So when the horses were not doing well, he was a bit disappointed. But then again, next thing he went for the best, and he had Lester Piggott, one of the famous riders, jockeys in England, to ride his horses in most of the races. So he wanted the best, and he got it.
He got it. Yeah. Okay, this is the fun question that I have. All serious questions that we should have fun as well. So, were there any particular habits that he followed? So basically, for Google CEO, he wakes up early in the morning, and the first thing he does is read a physical paper.
Yes.
And he goes through the whole paper. He reads every page, sip his tea. That's how he starts the whole process of his day. And most of the CEOs, like Tim Cook and everyone, they wake up way earlier, early in the morning, and they get into their habits. They run, they jog, and that's how they start the whole thing. But did Upali Wijewardana also have these unique sort of habits, some sort of thing?
Yeah, because he was interested in the newspaper. So he used to read the front page of the newspaper, and also the sports page, last page, because he was interested in seeing that his horses are born or his horses,
So he
yeah,
always wakes up,
yes.
first page, let me
And
go to the last page.
last page.
How's my horse is
Yes,
doing?
because horses are on the last fourth page. So he used to read both these things. Then he used to get in the cocoa market, the US market, and see the world prices. But since he was having Ireland and TV in the newspapers, so he used to compare the front page. The headlines was very important to him.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I mean, let me know. When I own a newspaper, I will come to you. So, the next question. What sort of an inspiration do you think Upali Wijewardana gives out to the younger generation of this time when it comes to both life and dreams?
Actually, he has planned his life. First 20 years, he said that he had to study and to be educated. Second 20 to 40 years, he thought that he had to earn much as possible. Then 40 to 60, he thought that he will do national service to get involved in doing some service to the nation. And after that, he said he will take a relaxed life and do more on Buddhist activities and all that, and take his what the grandmother and the parents did the Kalnir Raja Mahavihara, and take it forward, the Buddhist side of it.
He actually was a very good organized person, it means. Like all details and planned, and that's actually a really good plan. I mean, for us, when it comes to us, we have no plan. We are going all over the places. And that's why we are like, when the time comes for us, our retirement, we'll be working our ass off. But actually, that's when you're organized and planned, you have your goals set out for you. So you don't have to rush anything, you'll be very relaxed. Like, wow. I mean, I had a very nice outro for this whole script, and now I'm having a different one out of reasoning all these information regarding him. Okay, so
actually, when he was 40, like now, yes, on the 13th of 40 years, but what he started, the Upali group still exists because he had a nice foundation laid. So as an entrepreneur, I think most of the Sri Lankans doesn't do that, but then he had a corporate structure in place, like chairman, MD, CEO, then he had a finance director, commercial director, engineering director, so that though the chairman is not there, the structure is there to take it forward without collapsing. So
that's why the whole hierarchy is existing now.
That's right, yes. And also what he thought was after 60 to diversify his business, go into stock exchange, diversify, and let others also be part of his enterprise.
That's actually a very nice plan. I should start my own planning. I'm too late, I'm telling you, I'm too late. We are all too late when it comes to that. Okay, so this question actually I wanted to ask because I ask these questions. This question I question myself as well every single time I hear the name. So, if he was alive today, do you think Sri Lanka would be different?
He had an idea, so if the opportunity was given to him, he would have gone through his plans for development and get foreign investment, because one of his tasks was to bring foreign investment to Sri Lanka. So he started, President Wijewardana appointed him as the first GCEC chairman, Director General, but subsequently now it's called BOI. At that time he went to Silicon Valley and invited Motorola to come to Sri Lanka. So NEC came from Japan, so a lot of other interests were there. So,
I mean, we had Fiat in Sri Lanka as well as a manufacturer, isn't it?
Yes. So he had a big plan how to get this thing off the ground, and also to educate the younger generation with the knowledge of English, and also to give them good education. Because one plan he had was to start a university in Mathura, southern province, and in his own land, family land, he offered it to build a university. But then subsequently there is a university, there is agricultural faculty in Hamburupitiya called Ruhunu University. So he want to educate our younger generation.
I think he understood that the younger generation is the future for any country, and foundation is the best policy that you can have to build up your own enterprise, whether it's a Pettikade or whether it's a huge company. I think we have a lot to learn from that person and his personality. Okay, this question So this is a fun question. This was actually literally suggested by our MD as well.
Yes.
He was curious about it. What made him launch Delta Toffee when he could produce something totally different?
No, Toffee was started because he started in Narambik. After leaving Lever Brothers in 1962, he started his own confectionery because there was a plant available. So with that, he launched this Delta Toffee. Delta Toffee was because he used to travel to Nuwara and he saw this Udapasala tea estate called Delta. So from that he got the name. Yes.
And started making all these
That's
toffees.
right. Yes.
I mean, even today, every single person knows what a Delta Toffee is, and everyone loves that.
Yes. So the name came from Udapasala.
Udapasala.
Yes, the tea estate.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what did Upali Wijewardana left out to the world? What sort of a lesson did he teach us in life and business?
No, he used to say the decisions, whether it's wrong, good or bad, he used to back all the staff. He that was this thing he gave to the staff to make their independent decision, and he stood by that. So when you're CEO or MD, you should do that because otherwise the corporate level, the decision maker, managers won't make decisions.
Yeah.
So he always supported the ideas from the management, and he went through it, and that was one of his success.
I think that's a very important one because I think if we are going to shut down all the ideas and the decisions that the other person is trying to make, not only you're stopping that person from growing, but also you're putting some sort of a restriction to that company itself, that the company won't be growing further as well. So giving that freedom to that employee makes the company grow as well as the person. So actually that's a very humanitarian sort of a decision that he has taken. So this is actually a very hypothetical question, the last question that I'm going to ask you as well. If you get a chance to ask Upali Wijewardana a question, just one question,
Yes.
then what would it be? What would be that question?
Are you ready for the next presidential stage?
Oh, I wish he was. I wish he actually suddenly appears and then say, okay, I'm Upali Wijewardana, let's get this country out. Let's get this. And I'll be like, I'll be the first in line to what the hell out of that. I'm like, yes, let's go. I wish, actually. Well, Mr. Dammika Artygala, thank you so much for joining us today on our show.
Okay.
I really appreciate it. And that concludes our thrilling episode of The Founder Business today. I hope you enjoyed all these fascinating discussions and fantastic stories as much as I did. From small to big and everything in between, our aim is to inform you and inspire you. So stay tuned with us because you can be the founder we search for.